allow me the chance to personally thank each and every one of you for the love offerings and to pay it forward in a small way. You know, I'm not much of a public speaker, and as time got closer for this banquet, I was thinking, what part of this did you think was a good idea? But then I realized what a great honor to tell my cancer story here tonight. If I can inspire or help someone in just a small way, it will be well worth it. I thought I'll give you just a short life history before cancer and then after cancer. A lot of you know I'm Mark Guethle. I did grow up on the farm, south of Dexter, close to the Cruise farm, just north of Pam and the rest of the Rogers family. I also had Charlie's mother for a grade school teacher. I loved her. I don't know how Charlie turned out the way he did, but she was a nice lady. I have 3 older sisters, Donna, Rosemary, and Loretta. And I wanted to make sure that I'd say that they were outstanding sisters. And they were all older than I. So now a quarter mile away was the other Guethle family, and they had 5 brothers, so there were no sisters. So they were known as the Guethle boys' side of the family. And we were known as the Guethle girls' side of the family. Now, this should have bothered me, but it really didn't, because I was the youngest, and I was the only boy in our family, so there's a little bit of perks that go along with that. And they'll tell you, I wasn't spoiled. No, never. And as Mark Becker, who's not here tonight, but he likes to tell me every chance he gets, my sisters were twice the athlete that I was. So I had the best of both worlds. We did grow up playing sports, and the Guethle boys on the other side were all great basketball players. So I carried on the tradition and played basketball too. But I wasn't very good when I was young. I grew a few inches, worked hard at getting better, and I did work hard at it. Got lucky and played on several good teams in high school. My senior year, got second in Bloomfield Christmas tournament, first in county, and won our district. Got beat by a team that got third, but I still think we're better than that. But anyway, they beat us. Was recruited by Three Rivers and several other small year colleges, but decided to start my farming career and make my fortune. Right, Tony? After a year and a half, I got bored and wanted to try college life and play basketball. Coach Jones heard me say this, and he called Coach Bess. Coach Bess said, yeah, sure, come on, try out. We'll see how good you are. So everybody knows after you get out of school how much smarter and how much mature you are after you get out of school after that first year. You know everything after you get out that first year. And mine was a little bit magnified because my parents sent me to school when I was 5, and I actually didn't turn 18 until September after I graduated. So I was a lot better to play a ball player. I tried out, made the team, and as Scott said, we won the national championship that year. I averaged 8 points, 5 rebounds, and went 37-3. So I was pretty proud of that. And we were inducted in the Missouri Hall of Fame about 2 years ago, I think. So that second year I went back, expecting more of the same, but I met the most beautiful brown-eyed girl I'd ever seen. Her name was Sharon, and she changed everything. When I met her, I knew she was the one for me, but it took some convincing on her end. I had to do a lot of begging and all that good stuff, but it worked out. Started dating, couldn't really think much of anything but her. Enough that it must have affected my basketball playing. Because Coach Bass took me out of the starting lineup that second year and asked me if I had a girlfriend problem. Well, that girlfriend problem's turned into a wife problem for 38 years now. If you ever have a life-threatening illness, I pray that you have somebody like Sharon by your side. I might get emotional here. Forgive me, Jim Bland. He told me not to cry. She's been my nurse. She's been my doctor. She's been my researcher. She's been my therapist, both mental and physical. But mostly, she's just been my best friend through all this cancer. We have cried together, but we also have laughed together. I love you, dear. We just got fifth that second year, though. Because he yanked me out of the lineup, we just got fifth. Was recruited to go on, but decided to get married and start a family. Sean came along in 1982, Christopher in 1986. They both carried on the Guethle basketball tradition and had outstanding high school careers. Sean played on a team that was ranked number 1 for part of the year. Christopher played on a team that finished 4th in state. Still love to watch him play pickup ball and dominate guys like Michael Lambert, Logan Swindle, and Gary Christian. I told him I'd mention them, so there it is. They went off to college, met a couple of Kansas City girls, Nicole and Maddie, who we consider our daughters now. Somehow talked them back to move to Dexter and started blessing us with grandchildren. William, I told Gabby I'd mention her too, Gabrielle, Benjamin, Nora, and Emmett. We are so proud of the families that they have become. We love you guys. And I was still beating them in golf just every once in a while back then. Then I was living the dream. I was living the perfect dream. Then in fall of 2012, prostate cancer entered my life. I called Dr. Bobby Gibbon to get set up for a colonoscopy of all things. He told me that it required a physical. Keep in mind I was 54 and still in pretty good shape, so I thought no problem, I'll pass this with flying colors. That physical included a PSA, which is a blood test for prostate cancer that detects it and releases it without symptoms. My PSA came back at 4.5, which doesn't automatically mean cancer. It could be anything else, it could be infection, or your numbers are just high. Bobby put me on antibiotics for 2 weeks, but it didn't help, so off to Dr. Harlan and Cape, I went for prostate biopsy. My guys, get checked, because I had no idea I had this cancer. So please get checked. He called, I had a biopsy. A week later, on February 22nd at 10:30 in the morning, he called and said I had cancer. It was the 2 of the 12 samples they took. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was a 7. Called it moderate growing cancer. Some form of treatment was needed. 1 of 2 forms of treatment was recommended, either surgery or radiation. After many hours of research and talking to other survivors, surgery was decided on. Now this cancer has brought me to my knees and made me cry just a few times. The first time involved our oldest grandson, Will. Will and I have always had a close relationship from the time he was born. For some reason, he wanted me when I walked into the room. Usually little kids would turn and run. I don't know why, maybe it's a height, maybe it's my looks, I don't know. But he did this for a long time until he finally realized that it was his mama and daddy and Nana that provided his every need. But we still had a close relationship. Will would occasionally spend the night with us, and we had a routine at bedtime. Sharon would get him ready for bed, and then they would call me to come in there. He would lay between us, and I would make up some stories. And when he fell asleep, I would carry him to bed, just like we did Sean for 15 years. Will was 5, but acted like he was 12 at the time when I got the cancer. And so he knew the seriousness about it. The first night he spent with us after he found out, he acted different. Bedtime came and no call to come in there, so I went in there and checked it out. He was laying on the outside of Sharon, stood in the middle. So I asked him, didn't he want to lay between us? And his response was, I don't care. So the next question was, didn't want me to tell him a story. His response, he didn't care. This broke my heart. I'm sorry. No, I felt it was because he just didn't know how to react to me having cancer. I got up to the other room and cried. This cancer was trying to take away something so special to me, and cancer would do that if you let it. Luckily it didn't. We're as close now as what we've ever been. And if I could only learn how to play Night Fort, I think he's really going to win. Or not. No one can't play it. I mean, no one it is. Sorry. I was close. Sorry. It also hit me that night that his cancer just wasn't affecting me, but everyone in my life. And there's a t-shirt that you saw up here for Rider Bulls that says, "No one fights cancer alone." That is so true, especially, as Scott said, in this loving and caring community. I received cards stating that they were praying for me. They came from individuals, they came from church groups, they came from, I can't tell you all it came from. They came in and they had to expect them when they came in the mail. I'd go to the mailbox, boy, I hope I got a card today. I hope I got a card. So many people offered to help me along the way. At first, I was reluctant to accept help. You know how you are. You said, I'm going to get through this myself. I can do it. But Gary Deardorff told me not to deny someone that blessing of helping you, and it's true. I've been on both sides of this, and they are both equally as uplifting. So if you have anybody that offers you, I pray that you don't ever go through this. It is tough. But if somebody offers you help, do it. Let them do it for you. It would just be so good for them too as it is for you. Now, a few days before my surgery, a few of my friends came over for a group prayer. And as we were gathering together, I don't know if I should tell this or not, but I'm going to. And we were preparing to pray. Ron Lovelady and Tim Chamberlain pulled out some rubber gloves. And you know what that is, guys, for your test. And said they were going to lay hands on me. So I called their bluff, but they backed down. But you gotta laugh sometimes in these situations or you'll just go crazy. On Friday, May the 13th, 2013, I had surgery. It's a good thing I'm not superstitious or that date would have changed. Came through it fine, had very little side effects. A couple months later, my PSA was undetectable. I cried tears of joy at that time. Everything was great for 2.5 years, but then my PSA started going back up. A sure sign that cancer was back. So it was time for treatment number 2, radiation. 5 times a week for a total of 40 times, up at Southeast. I had several friends volunteer to drive me to Cape, and by the end, I was really needed the extra help. It was wearing me down. Cannot let this go without mentioning Lloyd Hyden, one of my brothers I never had. He wouldn't take no for an answer. When I said, I don't need anybody, I can go up there and come back. But he would always be there, even if I told him no. And all it would cost me was a steak dinner when I came back. Now, when cancer comes back the second time, you start wondering, are you making the right life and death decisions about treatments? In my prayers, I tended to start asking God for some kind of sign that we were. I I got one of those signs my first day in radiation. My 2 technicians that gave me the treatments, one's name was Jeannie, my mother-in-law. One's name was Nicole, my daughter-in-law. Now this might seem like a coincidence to you, but to me it wasn't. It was God answering my prayers. The radiation worked at getting my numbers down, but was never able to kill it. So after a year, my numbers started creeping back up, and I went to Decatur, Illinois, and took a special scan where they stick a radioactive solution into you, and the cancer glows orange. And the guy up there's name was Sean, my son. Second coincidence? No, I don't think so. So my insurance wouldn't pay for this because cancer was too small at the time or whatever. That's when I received my second love offering from you guys. And I appreciate that. Because it was straight coming out of pocket, and it was a miracle. I just love to get it. Thank you. I thank you again. The spot was found on my left hip and some other questionable spots elsewhere. 4 doctors consulted and said surgery and radiation were not viable treatments at this time. This came as quite a disappointment, and at times like this, I fall back on events that happened during my playing days sometimes. Like the time, since Coach Hall's here, I'm going to tell off on him. Like the time Coach Hall tried to run us to death one day in practice. We were playing JV and varsity games at Cape, and I was on the JV team. We came in, we won our game, and there was a tub of sodas there. And nobody told us it was for the varsity. So I think Rob Davis was there. He was the first one to grab one. So everybody else after that was game on. Everybody grabbed one. Came in, found out that it was for the varsity. It was too late. So when we got home that night, Coach Hall stood up on the bus and said, I'm really disappointed in you, JV, and you're going to find out how disappointed tomorrow at practice. So, at the end of practice, next day, he sent varsity home and put us on the line. It got so bad, and I said, Self, if he blows that whistle one more time, I'm going to run out that door and not come back. So I got up to the line. I'll be dang if that blow that whistle again. And you know what I did? I ran that line drill. And with this cancer, it's God that has that whistle now. It's my life I'm running for, and I can guarantee you that I'm not going to stop until the man tells me I can get off that line and go home. So it's treatment number 3 that I went to now. Female hormone therapy. And it's just what it says, female hormone therapy. This is a control, but not a cure treatment. They infuse female hormones into you to offset the testosterone, which the cancer feeds off of. They call it infuse because I need to use a needle about this long, stick it in your butt, as Eric was telling me. And it's bad. But it's working. Thank God it's working. Now this treatment has many female side effects. So see if this sounds familiar, ladies. Weight gain. I was the same size for 30 years. I started taking this in November, and I gained 20 pounds. Now all I can do is go walk by something, looks good to eat, and boom, there it is, folks. You can't get rid of it. Fatigue. Fatigue's another one. It comes bedtime, I'm really tired and just want to go to sleep. So the headache thing, yeah, it's true. Sorry, Bruce, I didn't mean to look at you. Okay, hot flashes. Woo! Hot flashes. That's another side effect. Now, guys and ladies my age ever complain about this, agree, give them some sympathy, because let me tell you, they are a bummer. You could be out there just playing around and all of a sudden, boom, it hits you. It's like somebody put a heater on you. And then one other side effect that really helps my Wednesday night men's club here, they go out to eat every night, which consists of Greg Mathis, Chris Bryant, Darryl Powell, Carl Guethle, Dave Montgomery, a few others. This is growth of breast tissue. Man boobs. Yeah. Up here. Don't look down here. They like to ask me how they're coming along all the time. I told you I'd get you back there. Another one's loss of muscle mass. I asked the Dr. Moore, says, how much will this affect my golf game, Doc? So I've been known for being a long driver. I said, well, it's going to take 25 yards off your drive, right off the bat. They said, I have a solution. So I can write you a note so you can tee off when the red. So, Charlie Cruz, Jim Bland, wherever you are, I want to hear any complaining when Stan O'Frank, my taller Catholic brother from another mother, are kicking you guys' butt on the golf course. Because I have a doctor's excuse. No crying. Now the good side. I'm almost done here. Now the good side effects of it. I can now watch an entire Hallmark Christmas movie this year. Even though I know exactly how every movie is going to end. I can now, another one is, I can now turn what should be an hour's worth of shopping into an all-day thing. So much that Larry Thompson, who's going through the same thing I am, is taking the same shots or planning a shopping trip. We don't know where we're going. We don't know what we're going to shop for, but we're going. So if you guys might want to go, talk to me afterwards. So I'd like to finish tonight with this Bible verse from Corinthians. Now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. I love how the Cruz family and you have chosen to celebrate, give, and remember Ben with this outstanding charity. I can't think of a better way to show how much he's meant to you, your family, and friends. I love how you support other small charities, such as that picture you saw of John Brand Memorial Tournament. I look around, I see a lot of you who play in that thing for us. We appreciate that. We are a small tournament, but we get as much of it as Scott and them do, but we know exactly how he feels. It's just so great that you support them all. This tournament honors two of my dearest friends and golfing buddies for the way they lived their lives, faced with cancer right up until they were called home. I can only hope I am following their example just a little bit and giving other people inspiration. I have but one major regret about my relationships with family and friends I have lost over the years. Is that I didn't tell them often enough how much they meant to me and how glad I was that they were a part of my life. So I challenge you tonight, before you leave here, or as soon as possible, tell that family member or good friend just how much they mean to you and how glad you are that they're a part of your life. For we are not promised tomorrow. So let me be the first to accept this challenge and say I love each and every one of you, and I thank God each and every one of you are part of my life. Thank you. God bless you. Go Blues.